Hey guys, welcome to Fight Your Rival. This week we decided to skip our normal weekly episode to bring you a Tekken Tag Tournament 2 FYR review. Now the game's been out for about a week and we've got our hands on it. Played it for a good chunk of hours.
A little too much.
A little too much, yeah. 7 days worth of Tekken. And the game is pretty much packed with everything you could possibly think of.
Yeah, so Tekken Tag Tournament 2 features the typical suite of modes that you'd expect from a fighter. You've got arcade, you've got ghost battle where you battle AI, you've got your offline versus, you've got survival mode, time attack, and what's new to the series is the Fight Lab mode. Now this replaces the kind of beat 'em up action mode that most Tekkens have featured since 3. This time you control Combat, a robot owned by the character Violet, aka Lee Chelon.
Yeah. Basically
the gist of the mode is Violet has to program his robot, teach him how to fight, which is a great way of Namco disguising a tutorial in a little story mode. So it really does a great job teaching you the basics of Tekken through 5 stages of different types of tutorials. And it's really fun. For example, one of the stages makes you fight a couple of enemies and you can only defeat them by hitting them in certain parts of their body, such as hitting them with a mid or hitting them with a low. So it really teaches you how to mix up your attacks while you're still having fun and playing a single player game. As you complete these missions, you'll actually accumulate development points, which Natal's going to talk about.
With the development points you get, you could use them in the combat tuning section of the Fight Lab. You have up to 5 slots to make 5 different combats. Basically the way you spend the money is if you choose left punch, left kick, right kick, there's a sub-menu underneath. And in that sub-menu you could purchase specific moves from specific characters. So if you want like Kuma's right punch attack but King's left kick attack, you could purchase those separately and mix and match all the moves and make your own combat 5 times over, which is pretty sweet.
So it's pretty cool that you could essentially customize your own fighter with the combats. And speaking of customization, every character in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is pretty much free for you to alter. There's a ton of customization options. It's definitely the most robust character customization in the Tekken franchise yet. You accumulate points over time, which you'll use to buy items for your character, and they range from just typical karate outfits and dress shirts to just really silly things like wings and police sirens, so you can have a lot of fun with this mode.
The one thing I did like is you could change your panels for the versus screens.
Yes.
And you unlock those through time, and even the LED lights that sparkle behind you when they show your character's introduction, which is pretty cool. But as much fun as I had with the customization menu, there were things I didn't like. All the characters' add-on weapons are all the same all across the board, and pretty much so are all the tops, like the heads and the head pieces.
Yeah.
As much as it's an upgrade from the Tekken 6 customization, I still feel that it's below the Soul Calibur 5 customization.
Yeah.
Hopefully the DLC releases more character-specific items as well as general items, but really good ones, and not just wings and a lion shield.
So after you've made your character look as ridiculous as possible, obviously you're going to want to test them out in battle. Now, the gameplay to Tekken Tag Tournament 2 will feel really familiar to anyone who's played Tekken 6. If you've picked up your character from the previous game, all your combos are still going to work, and they've all gained a few new moves. The biggest changes are obviously the return of the tag system from the original Tekken Tag Tournament, and the Tag Assault mode, which Natal's going to talk about.
Yeah, the Tag Assault is pretty awesome. It actually gives it more of a 2D feel. When I first started playing it, it reminded me of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, with specific launcher attacks that send your character in the air and you can switch out to your second player instantly, keep them bouncing up in the air and then come back with the main character. It really opens up a whole nother strategy element to the Tekken franchise as an almost that 2D feel to it, which I enjoy.
There's definitely a lot of creative potential in the game, especially when the game boasts over 50 characters.
Yeah.
Now this is essentially the dream match of Tekken. Almost every Tekken character you can think of is in there. There's a lot of returning favorites such as Jun Kazama, Ogre, and Kunimitsu, who haven't been in a Tekken game in a really long time. Tekken fans are going to have a lot of fun mixing and matching their favorite new and old Tekken characters.
Definitely, and there's more Tekken characters to come, like Dr. Boskanovich was announced and I can't wait to get my hands on him, so that's pretty epic.
Yeah, Lily's Butler, Sebastian, Skinny Bob. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
A lot of fun stuff. And if you're wondering what's the best way to play with the 50+ characters, in my opinion, offline to get your feet wet is Ghost Battle Mode. In Ghost Battle Mode, you pretty much fight Namco created online teams one by one based on their ranks. It's a great way to build up your character's rank offline. And the more you play, there's actually specific matches that if you do, you unlock a lucky box. And in that lucky box, you can get anything from money to actual customization items to character endings, which is my personal favorite because if you haven't played arcade mode, I say definitely try it out because unknown is near next to impossible to beat. And sometimes I don't want to sit there for a half hour trying to beat her, so I'd rather play Ghost Battle, get money and endings. So definitely try out Ghost Battle, people. It's awesome.
Yeah, so at this point, your character's probably equipped with handguns, nunchucks, and angel wings. You know, you've got your feet wet offline, you're comfortable. You're going to want to go online and take on the world. The game has the typical online features that most fighters have. Ranked matches, player matches. My favorite feature that all fighting games should really adopt is the ability to actually practice while you're waiting for a match. Not only is it a great way to kill time, you can really try things that you've seen in the match previous and, you know, learn from your mistakes. So
King of Fighters 13 had that actually.
Actually it did, yes. Yeah, it's a great feature and it really should be standard for the genre by now.
So after you play countless hours of Tekken Online and you want to see how well your characters are doing, you can head over to the World Tekken Federation. And on that site is pretty much the stat junkie's dream. It's pretty much Halo Waypoint, but for Tekken.
Yes.
And it shows you all your achievements. It shows you what characters you use the most, what teams you use the most. You could actually create teams and join a team, and that actually affects the way you play online when you play Tekken Tag Tournament too.
Speaking of stats, you can actually take a look at every battle you've had and see the most minute details, whether it's how many tag assaults you performed, how many throws you broke. So it's like Natal said, it's the stat junkie's dream. People that are really into dissecting stuff, you know, really nerdy people like me, I'm all about it. If you haven't noticed by now, the game is absolutely gorgeous. It's a huge step up from Tekken 6 graphically.
Yes.
The environments are what really stood out to me. There's certain levels where if there's dirt on the ground, you'll see dirt accumulate on your fighter. The final stage has this really crazy purple goop that'll also get on your fighter if you fall down. So, and there's a really great variety of stages. There's the old school never-ending Tekken arenas. There's levels with walls, levels with breakable floors. So great variety. You'll see a few familiar stages from previous games, so lots of cool stuff.
Besides the backgrounds being interactive and amazing, the music also works with the backgrounds hand in hand. And if you're not a fan of the music that Namco chose for a specific stage, you can actually go into the Tekken Tunes option and switch out the music to whatever you want. Now the cool thing is they're going to be releasing all the soundtracks from Tekken 1 all the way up to Tekken 6. So you could buy those and switch that music out, or if you have any music saved on your PS3 or 360, you could use those songs specifically for specific sections of the game. And besides that, after you accumulated all those endings, you could definitely check them out in the gallery section. I haven't gotten all the endings yet, but all the ones that I've seen, it's definitely worth playing. The endings are fantastic. I definitely recommend the Wong ending. Definitely check that one out.
And yeah, to sum it all up, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is one of the most complete fighters released this year. I think it's, you know, almost neck and neck with Soul Calibur in terms of content, which is no coincidence.
Both Namco.
Exactly. In a year where Street Fighter Cross Tekken kind of skimped on content and held back DLC, and we're still waiting for Skullgirls to flesh out, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 definitely feels like one of the best, most complete fighters released this year.
Right now, I really don't have too much complaints with Tekken Tag 2, except the minor customization parts, and that's about it.
And so if you're on the fence about it, just know that Tekken Tag 2 is a great feature-packed 3D fighter. It's definitely got a learning curve, definitely has a lot of technical aspects, but it does a great job of teaching you. And I think it's a game you'll have a lot of fun with for months to come, years possibly.
Yeah, and experiment, people. Definitely experiment. Just don't pick two characters because you like them. They might not work synergy-wise, so it actually has a little marble in it, so you have to pick your characters wisely.
Alright, so before we end this and go play some Tekken ourselves,
this
is Mike from Fight Your Rival.
This is Natal from Fight Your Rival.
And remember,
keep fighting.